Amazing. All right, so you put a topic on here that
Yeah.
I was very interested in, and I wanted to hear your opinion on this. Albums you'll love to hear for the first time.
So I was thinking about just all the albums you're listening to for the first time, and I'm just like, man, it's some. I have like 3 albums that I actually will love to experience for the first time because, like, my number one, I will just say was Kid Cudi's "Man on the Moon" one, is because I just remember, bro, like running to my mom's house, getting on LimeWire, downloading the whole album. I didn't buy it. I'm so sorry. I bought it later. But,
Allegedly.
yeah, but allegedly I didn't run. But I just like to experience those albums that hit you in the first listen is different to me. And it brought us to like the Schoolboy Q album. Like the first time I listened to it, it didn't hit me. But like those albums that hit me just right there instantly. And like Man on the Moon was like my number one. That always like this is an album that hit me first listen. It impacted me. I knew it was gonna be one of my favorite albums ever. Just how I felt about it, and I'm like, I would love to experience it again for the first time.
I actually came up with a little list.
Yeah, for me, you got a good amount of them.
I got a good amount. Not probably like what 5 to 7.
Yeah. I think mine's like 3 because it's more of like the experience of like that time.
Well, I'm gonna explain my criteria of why I chose said album and things like that.
Okay.
So one of my albums has to be The Minstrel Show.
Oh yeah,
Because
that's
of
current too.
Exactly. And my thing with The Minstrel Show by Little Brother, shout out LB Business.
Oh, my belly.
I think the thing is, I listened to this album for the first time last year.
Yeah.
I didn't really know who Little Brother was.
Yeah.
But after listening to a lot of this conscious rap, especially from the 90s, seeing where they get their influences from, and, you know, after The Minstrel Show, I heard Slum Village, the one that you recommended me. I wish I could now, like, take The Minstrel Show out of my head. This sounds blasphemous when I say this. I wish I could take it out of my head now. Have all the music I listened to right before then, even up to now, and listen to it now. Because I think I have an even more deeper appreciation for the album based off of
It's
where
because
it's
Mr.
coming
Straw is
from.
much better. That's it.
Yeah. But also where it comes from and kind of some of the things that helped led up to a group like a Little Brother and seeing the documentary after.
Yeah.
Well, I wish I saw the documentary before.
Yeah.
That would have been like, all right, then I listen to the album, I'm like, oh, I get exactly where they're going at with this. Because my friend PK from the Discord, shout out to PK, he was talking about how documentaries or biopics sometimes add to the experience of a listening of an album. And I'm like, dang. I'm like, and you know, in the documentary, I re-listened to the listening. Not saying it's bad. I just went to go re-listen to it because, you know, Little Brother is amazing. I went to re-listen to that. Then I re-listened to the Minstrel Show. I'm like, oh, these albums are so good.
See, the listening my favorite. Yeah, I love it.
Which is understandable. I completely understand why. Minstrel Show is mine because you put me on that one first.
Yeah.
If you maybe would have put me on the listening first, maybe the listening would have caught me first.
I just knew Minstrel Show is like that one though.
It's that one for me.
Yeah, it's just my favorite. I know I don't know if most people like Mr. Stroh more, but I know Mr. Stroh has like more of like that. It has more of the I guess would I say hype behind it? I don't know. It has more like hype behind it.
Yeah, like a lot of people.
Yeah.
I feel like when I see Little Brother be brought up, I hear Minstrel Show brought up way more.
I say it's the most talked about.
Yeah. Another album I had on here, Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Man, that's one of mine. Right?
That's one of yours? I mean, we can talk about it right now.
like-
You can go first. since I just ended
So
this one.
me, this put me in 2011. I was a junior in high school, and I just remember Good Fridays, bro.
Oh, man. You brought me back with that beat.
Good Fridays,
Oh,
bro.
I miss Good
my
Fridays, man.
God.
I miss them so much.
So this used to have me so hyped, bro. I used to be ready for Friday, listening to like Christian Dior music, Denim Flow,
Christmas in Harlem?
Christmas in Harlem. That's when we got
The song with him and Lupe and Pharrell?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's when they did the group. I forgot the name. The
Yeah, I did
Soldiers,
too.
some Soldiers.
Yeah, the
But
Rebel
bro,
Soldiers.
bro, come on, man. What's that one song that with the Justin Bieber on it?
Was it Christmas in Harlem?
No, that's with Tiana Taylor. But it's a Christmas song. Runaway, You're My Runaway Love. They're like remix. And Raekwon on that joint.
Oh,
God,
wasn't
bro.
Lloyd Banks on one of them songs too?
Yeah, Banks on Christian Dior Denim Floor.
Okay.
Fire verse. And Kid Cudi on there. He had a little verse on there because he said he only wanted to do that.
Okay, here's the songs: Runaway Love,
Yeah,
Power
that's what-
Remix, Devil
Power,
in a New
yeah.
Dress, Good Friday, Lord, 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 Soul Paul, Christian Dior Denim Flow, Don't Stop, Take One for the Team, Don't Look
Take One
Down,
for
The
the
Joy,
Team.
Look for Trouble.
Yeah, so Look for Trouble had Jay on there, J. Cole. So, Looking for Trouble. Yeah, so Devil in the... I don't know.
Devil in a New Dress.
Devil in a New Dress, right? This one was my favorite out of all of them. Like, that was insane. I was like, this beat is beautiful, bro. And, like, this just had me hyped. I'm like, what is Kanye going with this album, bro? Mm-hmm. And then I think after, like, the Good Friday stuff, I don't know, because Power came out before, right? Because he dropped the Power remix with Jay-Z after Good Friday. Yeah. It was a hit. It was a hit. Mm-hmm. But, like, just prepping for the album, I was like, okay, let's get into this.
I think this was a perfect demonstration of the blog era of we could drop music whenever we want.
No, but this rollout was insane. Mm-hmm. The art, some of the performance at the MTV Music Awards with Pusha come out there. Bro, it was just, everything was perfect. Kanye in his like all red suits, just the freestyles they was doing, the good music cipher on the hip hop awards.
Oh my god,
like everything, bro. Come on, bro. Too many Urkels on your team. That's why you win. So you know what I'm saying? Like it was like, bro, this time, like everything before the album just had me so hyped, and then when I actually got that album, bro, allegedly from LimeWire, FrostWire, anyone, bro, I listened to that album over. I did not stop playing that album, bro, for weeks, bro. And that's one of them albums I love to listen to for the first time.
I think for me, my criteria for this album was, because I have a criteria for different albums. The reason I chose My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, because even if I drop it now, it still wouldn't sound like anything. It don't sound like nothing. And my thing is, to me, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, to me, it was like the ultimate like mood atmosphere like setter. It felt like I was listening to a movie is what I like to call My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, because it feels like how it is.
Yeah.
It's about, I guess I feel like the sins of Kanye, where he's talking about ego, greed, power, love, being a monster, and heck of a night, you know, and then just being a bad guy and being a bad dude, and like in songs like Runaway and The Blame Game. Yes. But then it's just like you have that song, the last song of Love in America or whatever. And I'm just like, just the things that Kanye was talking about, just the instrumentals, there have been no songs that sound anything similar to what has been created on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
And so the title of the album is just,
with the different album covers as well.
Like, I love when the title of an album like reflects that album, and it's like, this is my beautiful dark twisted fantasy.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
It is
insane to me.
I love it. I just love it. I think some of the lyrics that he has on the album in terms of like subject matter and
rapping, he actually was like, bro.
He was doing his ish, and then the fact of he was playing with different things on this album. I feel like with the song All the Lights, when he had all those vocal performers on that one song singing that one hook. Or if you got a song like Gorgeous, where he puts a little phone effect on it. And then you got Heck of a Night, where he also does that little sound effect on his voice. And I'm just like, dog.
That album, bro. And it's just like, this is something like I feel like we was in that mind of Kanye right there, bro. Like, he put it together so beautifully, because I heard like the sessions for this was insane.
I seen some of the videos, the clips,
all this stuff over and over. Like, bro, I think this was his like, I guess this really his magnum opus. You know what I'm saying? This is the album that's like, this put Kanye, like Kanye was already. This is the album that's like, yo, this is not a best hip hop album of all time. This is like a best album. Like, you put this next to like a rock album. Like, you just put it next to music. Period. It's just a great album.
I think sonically, I don't want to say push the culture forward. It's just the fact of nothing can ever replicate what this sounds like. Like, you can maybe replicate a college dropout. You can maybe replicate a late registration. Maybe a graduation. You cannot replicate this album. There is no way you can replicate this album and have it sound as good as this. Like this, like to me, this album was amazing. To me, it's my number one hip hop album of all time.
It's up there for me. I don't think it's my number one.
To me, it's my number one, because I just feel like I have never gotten a greater experience. And this is an album I could literally throw on. I throw on one song, I'm like, nah, I gotta listen to the whole thing. F it. I'm like, let me start from the beginning.
The intro, I gotta hear Nicki with that little accent.
And the fact of he was like, yo, he was telling people, you need to rewrite that. Like Rick Ross gave one of his best verses on that album. Like the So Appalled song. Oh my gosh. It's just so much I love with that album.
That's crazy. And I don't know, for some reason I think he has to have that on his.
Oh yeah, that's my number one hip hop album of all time. That's the one where I'm just like, this is the most different thing I've ever heard in my life when it comes to music. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah. I sent a picture of my dick. I'll never forget, bro. We was playing that song in the car with my grandma.
Oh, what?
She said, what did he say? Oh my God, bro.
You got another album?
Oh, man.
You said you got 3, right?
I have 3 albums. But if you want to go,
all right. Like I said, I got a list.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, go.
my number 3, Freddie Gibbs' Pinata with Madlib. I gotta say that I wish I could re-listen to this album now.
yeah,
Because back then when it first came out, like I said on the podcast and to you, I didn't appreciate it like that when I first heard it. Because I was just like, this is way different compared to what I thought I was getting. This isn't the same gangster like production I was getting on his album Babyface Killer or Cold Day in Hell. But to now, hear more Madlib, to hear more Alchemist, to hear more Harry Fraud, to hear a whole bunch of other producers that I really enjoy nowadays and that I feel are great, and to hear like a Bandana, which I think is still great because I appreciated Madlib's production. I wish I could re-listen to Pinata now because to me this is like the best gangster rap album of all time because of the flows he uses, his lyrical content, his lyrical subject matter, just the production was going on. He dissed Young Jeezy on a Madlib beat. Who could say that?
No, you know what's so crazy about you bringing up? I forgot about the whole Jeezy thing.
But that's one of my what ifs that we everywhere, have bro. In another video. Man, on like what if he was still signed to Jeezy?
I forgot about that. Oh, that's
would he have made Pinata?
Okay.
Because to me, I feel like I gotta, especially looking back at it now, I didn't know Freddie had something like this in him ever.
But you never looked at his older stuff, like him doing beats with like Static Selector and all them people back then.
No, because you gotta think at the time it was BFK and it was
because you gotta remember he was in LA in the earlier time as well.
No, I'm saying back then. So back then, especially now, I recently heard Covert Coup by Currency with The Alchemist, and I heard him on there.
Yeah.
And so I really like that song. I added it to the playlist. Check out the playlist in the description down below. I listened to that and I'm like, when did the Covert Coup come out? When did Babyface Killing On come out? I looked at when Covert Coup came out. I'm like, this came out before, or the song is called Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
This came out before BFK. I'm like, where the F was this on BFK or Cold Day in Hell?
And because it was a different sound.
No, I know, but because I'm just saying.
If you go back and you look at the Freddie stuff, he was doing stuff with underground stuff.
I mean, he still kind of does that now.
He's still Freddie from who Freddie was today.
Yeah, but I feel like
he always bounced around.
But I feel like because of Pinata and the way I've been following his career since BFK, ever since that Pinata album, I feel like it's influenced a lot of his other albums for him to be a bit more lyrical in the content. He still does that rap about that gangster stuff and that gangster lifestyle, but I feel like he has more lyrical substance. I mean, not lyrical substance, but lyrical writing in his projects now.
I think in the later ones, I feel like only Soul Separately.
Soul Separately. But we got Shadow of a Doubt.
You got Freddie.
You got
Freddie is like
You Only Live Twice.
Only Live Twice is like it's different from like Matt than Pinata, but he still has some. I know what you're saying. It pushed him forward.
Yeah. To me, Freddie is the only outlier in that situation.
Freddie still
because Freddie don't have no album where it's just banger filled like that. And plus, I feel like he was just like, oh, I'm just going in here to have fun. I mean, look at the album cover. It's besides that, You Only Live Twice. I feel like was inspired a bit from Pinata. We also have Shadow of a Doubt. It kind of goes in that Freddie territory, but he does have some points where I'm just like, he has a whole song where he's going back and forth with Black Thought. I'm just like, that's what I'm saying. Without Pinata, I feel like he wouldn't have went in that lane and kind of delved a bit more deep and kind of mixed it more with his gangster raps.
I think he would have. Because I feel like
we didn't get any glimpse of that. But we didn't get any glimpse of that on BFK or Cold Day in Hell.
Yeah,
we didn't get no
because I think that's what he was doing on those albums. Because you got to look.
No,
at
but
the
I'm
other
saying
stuff.
a glimpse though. At least a glimpse, like a little tiny glimpse.
I guess you could get a glimpse from the features he was with, like the people he was.
That's what I'm saying.
With.
But you got to think at the time when I was listening to Freddie Gibbs, that's why it was such a throw off to me when I heard Pinata. Because I'm like, where did this come from?
I was ready.
I
don't know. Is it because I was older and I was like more in tune with what was going on?
You was more in tune with what was going on, and so because you would put me on the stuff. You didn't put me on Freddie.
Yeah, no.
But
I knew you was listening.
I literally found Freddie because he looked like Tupac. I'm like, oh, let me check this guy's.
You saw that.
I saw BFK. Yeah,
I've been.
And I was like, this guy looks like Tupac. I'm like, let me check him out. And I just loved his voice.
Yeah, I remember when he had hair. I'm like, I remember when he had hair.
I don't, but yeah, to me, Pinata was such a throw off.
Like an alien, bro.
Probably, but Pinata to me, if I could just take it out of my mind and re-listen to it right now. Such an amazing, like I said, to me, #1 gangster rap album of all time.
So my number 3. Mm-hmm. My number 3, I was thinking it could be multiple albums, but I'm just gonna go with an instrumental album. I'm gonna go Donuts because Donuts was an album that Erica actually told me about when I was like 15. No, I had to be like 14, 15 years old, and
I bet they go like, who is that?
I was over at her house, bro, and she was like, "Hey, you ever heard of Jay Dilla?" And I'm like,
she put you on?
Yeah, she told me about Jay Dilla.
To be real, I thought that you would have just found him out on your own. That's why that
so
tells me.
I'm gonna tell you, like, I heard who he was, but I was young. I was like, I was a freshman in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was an 8th grade freshman. One of them, anyway. She asked me about no Jay Dilla, and I was like, I remember her going upstairs, and I was like, he the one that died, right? She turned around, I was sad. Like I didn't know that connection, and then I was just like, yeah. And then she gave me like a beat tape.
She was part of the Aquariuses, right?
Yeah, she was with all of
the
it.
Soul Aquariums.
Yeah, bro, she got pictures of Dilla and them. They all in the kitchen and everything.
Yeah. And so Jay Dilla was heavily associated with them, or was he part of them?
Like, so that's not really a group.
No, I know it's not literally a group. It was like I don't want to say collective either.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
but it's like loose group. From what I've heard, from what I watched from the video.
Yeah, but Dilla was a part of that. But
he was? Okay.
Yeah. But what's so crazy? I'm like, okay, Jay Dilla, whatever. But I remember, so I went home. It had to be years past, bro. Like I had to be like a junior or senior at this time, and I just fucking played one of his the Donuts album. And I was like, yo. I was like, yo, this is dope.
It clicked with you first.
It clicked with me first listen, bro. Because I already at that time I was listening to instrumental albums because I was making beats and I wanted to be a little producer. But I wasn't like checking for Dilla and them. I knew beats he made at that time, but I wasn't going to go look at his solo catalog. And that album, bro, them beats just brought me in. It was just so beautiful. The samples, it's an album that I just still play to this day. I always play it. Always in the house. I got it on vinyl, play it for my kid. He loves some beats. It's just one of those albums. It's like I love to like listen to it again to the experience, bro. Like I just remember playing it, plugging it in one night in my headphones with the little strings, with the little iPod. I had a little iPod. I put it on there, a little iPod with the screen, with the had the camera on there. It was purple. It was my sister's. I took it from.
I thought you were about to say like an iPod Nano or something.
Nah, it was an iPad, but it brought that little camera. It was a little Nano like, but it had a camera on it.
Remember it.
It was my little sister's, bro. It was purple. It was an 8 gigabyte. I remember, bro. And I remember putting on headphones in and just sync into the album, bro. And that album put me in way more, it introduced me into way more stuff. I found so many different artists just from that album and not think that album, bro. So yeah, it's my number 3.
I will say that if I would have listened to Jay Dilla's Donuts back then, I wouldn't have liked it.
Yeah.
Now I liked it. You know, when I listened to it like a few months ago.
Your brain has expanded. Your music.
Yeah, because back then, this don't pump, man. Get out of here. This ain't no Lex Luger.
Oh my God.
Right. Back then in Teenager Chase, that's all it is to was gangster rap or drug rap.
Wow.
I can't even say drug rap because drug rap to me is so different compared to what drug rap is now versus back then, like a Rick Ross, a Young Jeezy versus a Juice WRLD.
Yeah. And hey, about this last topic, you want to roll into the next pod and like, because I can go for, I think we probably going way too
For the
long.
last topic?
Yeah. I think I'll just put it I'll put it in another pod.
Okay.
Bro, I think I didn't know we was going to go this long. I'm like, yo, it's going to be 3 hours. I'm just saying it's going to go for a while, so I don't know. We can probably hit it. We can hit it another time, B.
All right. Let me give you guys my 4 other albums that I would love to
I just wanted to let you know that before we got into it. I didn't want you to go segue into it. And I'm like, yo, bro, we finna be going, bro.
But another album I have on here is MF Doom, Mad Villainy. Because of the unique way that MF Doom raps on that album.
That hit you first listen?
When I was younger, yeah. Because I'm just like, this is weird. I'm like, I kind of like it.
Yeah.
It was like one of those things when you first listen to something, when you first experience something that's kid, you be like, that's weird. I think I like it. This is one of those things that it made me think. And I was like, when I was younger, I don't get it. As an older person, I don't fully get it now. But I don't get it as in like every single line, like, oh, he's really deducing the lyrical content, and this rhyme right here really rhymes with this one. Like, I don't get that to that level now, but I feel like with this album right here, to me, it does show some of the greatest and most weirdest ways to rap on some great but also weird beats, especially for at the time. When it comes to the hip hop of back then, nothing sounded like this.
And the stuff that they was putting together with that, oh my God, bro! The first thing I ever heard off that was Rhinestone Cowboys, and I was like, yo, what the? I heard that and never went back. It took me a few years to actually dive into to Mad Villainy.
I heard I don't know when I heard Mad Villainy. It was definitely during my run of like listening to hip hops and hip hop albums. Yeah. This was like back when I was like in middle school or high school.
Yeah, I was in middle school too.
But another album I put on here was Big Crit. Crit was here. His breakout mixtape.
I got a story for that one too. I remember when that. Oh man, I remember that.
For me, when it comes to this, because like I said, I was re-listening to it the other day and I was making this list. I'm like, This has to be the one right here because to me this is like his college dropout where to me it shows his best talents. And this was the album where mixtape where he was about to quit, I believe, and was just like, oh, this is my last name because no one's really listening to me. And I listened to some of his previous stuff. I understand why they wasn't listening to him.
He had some songs on there though.
He did.
Yeah, that glimpses.
He did, but I understand why as a whole. Yeah. But when it comes to Crip Was Here, I feel like to me, this was one of the best Southern projects to really debut an artist. I don't want to say it's his debut, but it's to break an artist out because to me it showed that the South isn't just this certain thing or that certain thing. It showed a lot of character from Big Crit. It showed his songwriting ability. Very introspective. Some of the storytelling that he has on here, not really a lot like a Banana Clip Theory off of King Remember the Time, but his production skills as well, his sampling. You can obviously see the influences from the people from the South, like an Outkast, like a UGK. But then you can also see some of the inspiration from the production, like a Kanye West and things like that. So that's why Big Crit Was Here was such a great.
My story for that album, bro, I never forget. It was like a Sunday or something, bro. I remember I used to watch MTV, and the video came on. I remember being on the top bunk, and I don't know if my cousin, I don't know if somebody was right there, and the one song, we just sitting here, and he was like, we police the only rival gang.
I don't know the song.
Do the same. He was going and he went out. I didn't ask for it. I was gonna ask for Crit.
I think it's Victorious. I think it's Victorious.
I heard that, bro. I jumped off the top bunk, bro, and I'm like, I remember MTV used to have like this slider at the end, like to I'm like, who is that? Who is this? And I went in and I saw it was Big Crit, and I like ran down to my mom's house, bro, like I always do. Get on the computer. Found this mixtape and I bumped that stuff for like a month straight. And then actually like so crazy about that, I think if I'm not mistaken, I heard him before. I think it was like on
Cushion OJ Glass House.
Cushion OJ, if I'm not mistaken, bro.
Or you maybe heard him off of a Currency project.
It's been so long, but anywhere I go, I heard him before, but he didn't sound like that. He was rapping his bro, and then when the beat shut up, he like in the African,
that's Victorious.
Get back it up, or whatever. It's coming in my head, bro. But hey,
Bubble Cushion, nothing bag it up.
Bro was going, he was going off.
But another album I have, UGK Riding Dirty, because I went to this after hearing Dirty Money because Dirty Money had the big song with Chopping Blades. And I also went to this album after Underground Kings, their self-titled album. That's their more modern album. And Riding Dirty to me is a great exemplification of what the South was back at that time and what the nightlife was that they was living at that time as well. And so I don't know what it is. Like, to me, that's their most unique album in terms of sound, especially for back in the 90s where a lot of music, especially Southern music, didn't sound like that. To me, it doesn't have that old-timey sound where it's like... They
was more West Coast like influence.
Yeah, which I understand. I don't knock them for that. But also, to me, this sounded so unique and different compared to everything else. And this also inspired so many other projects that I do love, or so many artists that I love as well. The other two projects before that, but this one... And I got one more, and you might be able to... What, the previous two UGK albums?
You don't like the original stuff? The first two albums?
I don't like the albums as a whole.
Oh, okay. But they got some stuff.
No, they got some stuff on
them. And then like Pregnant.
And my last album, and you might be able to speak on this, I don't know. Outkast Stankonia.
I don't like that album. I don't know. That album never. Its songs, of course.
To me, it's my first Outkast album that I've heard.
Oh my bad.
No, you're good. But it's my first Outkast album that I heard because of the radio hits at the time. Yeah. And so I went to go listen to it because the radio hits was on there.
Bombs Over Baghdad.
Bombs Over Baghdad.
So Fresh, So Clean.
Miss Jackson.
Yeah.
And so the songs on there, I'm like, all right, this is good. But I went to the album. And so when I heard it back then, I liked it because it was quirky. It was weird. And, it was very funk heavy. Yeah. And, they had this weird, I don't want to say the 70s thing happening on the album, but it felt weird and different. And now also listening to all of the discography, and if I would have come back now and listened to Stankonia, I think it would still hold up to this day. And it definitely sounds different, and it sounds very unique.
It's been so long since I listened to the album, but it's my least favorite. Out of like that core.
Out of the core before they do the double disc? Yeah. I think, to me, the first album is my least favorite. I didn't say bad. My least favorite. My favorite is Stankonia. Then, Them two is hard. Them two.
So Aquemini and Stankonia is like that to you?
No.
Oh, you talking about just
Aquemini and
and AT-Aliens. Oh yeah.
To me, like,
but you know those two albums are better.
No, they're better.
Okay.
No.
I know you said favorite. I know you said favorite. My bad, bro.
I didn't put Stankonia in my top 15 Southern hip hop albums all time. I put AT-Aliens and Aquemini though. Hold on now. let's get something straight. But yeah, Stankonia in terms of like sound and uniqueness, because I'm going for more unique projects or what was very symbolic in terms of me listening to that artist. Stankonia has to be that one because that's what put me on the Outkast, what made me listen to them. And if I would have listened to them now and heard Stankonia, I probably would be like, this is weird. Like, this is definitely far off from what they do. But maybe
you would be used to it because you got all these different type of albums from the get-go. Southern Playalistic, AT-Aliens, Aquemini.
But they all didn't have far-off production compared to Stankonia, which is why I said I would appreciate it more now because it would have been this. They took a risk.
But I love Bums Over Baghdad.
No,
like the singles I love. The album just didn't click. I heard it like 5 times. Maybe it'll click now that I'm 30. I don't know. It just didn't click.
The AT-Aliens and the Aquemini are definitely better rap albums. This album to me, in terms of like sound and just it being different, that's why I chose this one. I couldn't choose Aquemini and AT-Aliens because I'm just like, that's too hard. Yeah. That's too hard. They're just two amazing albums. Like, what can you say about those?
Yeah. But yeah.
I think we hit